Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd, and as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
2 years after the first series of murders, as Sydney acclimates to college life, someone donning the ghost face costume begins a new string of killings. That's right, we watched Scream 2 from 1997, continuing our Mother's Day month of May crazy ladies.
Mommy
what do we call
issues
it? Mommy
Mommy
issues
issues.
May? I don't
There
know.
you go.
Yes.
I feel like it changes every time because I don't remember.
No, it's just you not remembering. It's been the same.
It
Paul
doesn't-
can't stay
Mommy
on
issues
brand.
May.
It doesn't
all
have a
right?
catchy name. I can't remember it, okay?
That is catchy. Mommy issues May.
I'm a kid of
Get
the
it
80s,
together,
okay?
Paul.
We had jingles, man.
I'm not writing a jingle for you.
Well, then I'm not going to remember it. Anyway, Mommy Issues Month continues.
this
Scream 2.
This
with the
is
ultimate Mommy Issues
the
month.
ultimate mommy
this is a
issues.
sleeper Mommy Issues
Yeah.
Yes.
movie. Because you really don't think about it.
This is my favorite out of the whole franchise. I don't know why I love this one so much, if it's the nostalgia or what, but this movie still holds up for me. I fucking love Scream 2.
I think they all kind of do, though.
They're also iconic, especially for us who grew up during the 90s and
Yeah.
with it. I mean, they were fucking huge.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
think Billy Loomis's mother / the killer / Andy's mom.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's a weird universe, right?
Andy's mom?
Isn't he Andy's mom?
Yeah.
Chloe Metcalf?
Oh, yeah,
Toy
Andy.
Story.
Toy Story. You said Andy, and I went Parks and Rec, and I was like, no.
Not that Andy. And not Andy
No, that's
Griffith.
Jackie.
Other Andy.
That's Aunt Jackie.
And Jackie. Well, yeah, but I just think, no, but those two parallels, right? When Aunt
Yeah.
Jackie in the middle even makes it more
Yeah.
weird. But I'm like,
I mean, she was a truck
such
driver one time.
Such a crazy, versatile
Actress.
ridiculousness.
Oh, Lori Metcalf
All in
is
one,
amazing.
Yes, she
I
should be
love
more
Lori.
things.
She should. She should be in everything. She's
She should
amazing.
kill more people. I want to see
She
her kill
really
more people.
should. She
If
had
there's
the
a-
crazy eyes. I was like,
She was
how'd she
good.
do that?
She does that.
Because she doesn't have normally crazy eyes, but in this movie, she had the crazy eyes.
She brought her A game.
She
Right.
opened them just a little bit wider, and I was like, that bitch crazy.
And to think that, okay, so bits of the trivia that like they had to rewrite this whole script because the first 30 pages got leaked on the internet. When they
I kind of remember that.
when they were doing when they were starting to film, they got everything ready. Some extra or somebody let the pages out on the internet, first 30 pages of the script. So they're like, fuck it, starting from scratch. Everybody had to sign NDAs. Even the principal cast didn't get the last 10 pages of the script, so they didn't even know how it ended until they were getting ready to film all that.
I kind of remember that leaking out because that was like the beginning of the internet.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's like
that
one of
was
the
like-
first
yeah.
ones where it's like, because then after that, like that's when like everyone's like bitching about Napster with Metallica and all
Yeah.
that, like, and then it was like pirated movies and music, like it
that's
became that
when
whole
the-
big thing.
That's when the internet clashed with the
Yeah.
money because it was who pays us if it's
Yeah.
all out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was-
so when it leads to Scream 3, that's the whole joke's about, well, there's like 4 different script versions. We don't know who dies next because it's
Yeah.
like they had to do like those shadow tactics to be like, okay, well, no one can leak the fucking script if we do it this way.
yeah.
And I think
So,
it
yeah,
actually
was
adds a
crazy.
little bit more to it because I remember thinking back to when I first saw this movie, it keeps you guessing on who it is because they give you so much misdirection.
Yeah.
And just because they told the actors,
Yeah.
we're not telling you until the end, so play it like you might be.
I know. Think about it if like they never told Metcalf that she was Billy's mom, like
See,
throughout the
that
whole
would've
thing.
been
Like
great.
she's like, you're Debbie Salt. You're gonna be this
Debbie Salt.
reporter,
Yeah.
and like that's just your role. And then she turns out to be
Yeah,
Billy
like so that
Lewis's
line.
mom.
So that line when it's like, I have a deadline. Like you really think you have a deadline because you're
Yeah.
Debbie Salt,
Yeah,
and then
Debbie
later,
Salt.
like, guess what? Here's the last 10 pages. She's the killer. Like, what the fuck?
And Lori Metcalf, I just believe that she didn't even know, but she pulled out that performance just
We're just-
randomly.
we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah,
And
because she's
okay.
amazing.
And this
This is
is
a Lori Metcalf Stan episode, just so everyone's
this
aware.
is this is a rare instance to where I think internet meddling helped this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, like Sonic.
Like Sonic did.
Yes.
Because Ugly Sonic, which
he did just make his comeback.
apparently makes a cameo
Yes.
in Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
We
Have you
haven't
seen it
it
yet?
No, we haven't seen it
Oh,
yet.
Our
gotta see
children
it.
are all the buzz about
I
it.
saw
though.
a clip of it when I was going in there, and I fucking like Lumiere fucking lights a dude on fire. Like,
It
I was like,
is-
wow.
Spoilers,
this is
Jesus.
this is not the Rescue Rangers podcast. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think this is one of the rare occasions where internet meddling actually made this movie better. Because I was reading some of the stuff that was in the original script that they had, and Randy was supposed to be Gail's cameraman.
Yeah.
The character of her cameraman was just another student friend of theirs, and like all the killers were different, and like it was all like, it was like, this sounds stupid. Like, this sounds like a Rush sequel that they made you make to make money.
Well, didn't they
this literally came out within a year of the
Yeah,
movie
because that's what I
coming
have to say. They started filming this like while the movie was still in theaters.
It was greenlit while the movie was still in theaters. They started filming it 6 months after the release of the first one.
Yeah, because
Damn.
like any horror movie that does well, no one expected it to do well.
No.
They
Yeah.
never expect horror movies to make money at all. And then when something does, they're like, here, make 5 more of them.
Make
Here,
more,
here's
make
more money, make
quick,
more.
quick.
As
Yeah.
fast as you can, get them out. I remember when this one came out, it was all like Buffy had been out for a year and it was huge. And it was Sarah Michelle Gellar's going to be in it. Like she was in all the promotions and everything. And then she dies in one
Not just
scene.
that,
Like that's
though,
it.
You have a bunch of other people too. You have dude from Dawson's Creek, Josh Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
who
He
I
was in
always
one
know from
scene. Yeah.
From Mighty Ducks.
Basically a cameo.
Yeah.
And you had Portia de Rossi, who I completely did not recognize until he like.
How do you not recognize her?
Yeah.
She just looks so young.
That is, she's the same character as she
Yeah.
is in what's the
Arrested
fucking-
Development.
Arrested Development. Like
Yeah.
she's what was
She
it?
is. Hi, Sydney. No, I really mean it. I really mean that.
She's the exact same character.
She is. Lindsay.
The one of the Audreys is the
Oh, yeah.
sorority sister, the Vegas one. The
Yeah.
Vegas Audrey is
Yeah.
Donnie is her name in this.
Yeah, she's the sorority sister to Cece.
The Noxzema chick,
What's the Noxzema chick?
Rebecca Gayheart, the curly haired one.
No, see, I don't go Noxzema chick. I go Urban Legend.
See, they made Urban Legend because of this. They're like,
Yeah.
all right, all of you that made these cameos, we're just going to make your own movie.
Oh, and there
try
was so many
capitalize on
cameos
it.
in Urban Legend too, because
Yeah.
I believe Freddie makes a cameo in that. Brad Dourif makes a cameo in that. Like, yeah, there's so many.
I've
cameos.
never fully seen that movie because it looks so bad.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's
So we may have to do that.
like
Maybe
I
that'll
said,
be a Halloween one.
this one holds up so great because it's such a great slasher.
The only thing that bothers me about this movie, and it bothers me about all movies, is have you guys ever been to a movie theater where people are acting that idiotic before they watch
See,
a
I was
movie?
gonna say
I would
that
be so
in that
annoyed.
scene, I'd be like,
Free
"Oh."
tickets or not?
Like, no,
'Cause
yeah,
I know they
like-
said those are free tickets.
Like,
but no.
imagine you were seeing like Scream 2, like
Yeah.
legitimately seeing Scream 2, like a free movie, like before anyone, right? And you're like, sit the fuck down. Like, I'd be so pissed. Like,
See, I've been
I
to.
actually want to watch the fucking movie.
I've been like, it was years ago where I got to see a movie, like I was part of the test screening or whatever need be, and nobody acted like that. Everybody was like, oh, what are we
Oh
going to
yeah,
see? What are
no,
we going to see?
we've
What are we
been to
gonna
those
see?
where like they're like no phones, we'll
yeah, you
take
got
your
to like
phone.
put your phone
like,
in the box and all
yeah,
that.
it's like no, you sit and you watch the fucking movie. Like,
Yeah.
and have you guys ever been in a movie theater where people have been loud or hadn't stopped talking, and then somebody's grumpy dad makes everything real weird, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up."
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, we a couple of weeks ago when we saw Doctor Strange 2, there was a kid who started talking and people told him to shut the fuck up.
Jesus.
Because there's a point in the movie, I don't want to spoil it too much, but a certain character makes his appearance and he starts going off on a little weird tangent about how Grandpa's on the screen and somebody told him to shut the fuck up.
Don't take your kids.
So
to
shut up, kids. is
Multiverse
what
Yeah.
we're
of
getting.
Madness.
PSA,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. We will tell your kids to shut up if you don't.
Yes.
So
But the other thing that makes all the screams so great is all the commentary that Wes is basically giving us about horror fans
Yeah.
and movie fans in general. I mean,
and that he kind of fucks with you a little bit too.
yeah.
Because it's like you have that whole throughout the whole movie. It's always the whole: does violence come from cinema? Does that make this and that? And it's always
The answer is
especially
always no.
and
at the
especially
end.
and especially these filmmakers. I know, like in the '80s there was like all the censorship about them. Like, oh, they're Stephen King is making your children worship the devil, and all
yeah.
that. Those
I mean, there was
weird
a first
groups,
lady that
like,
had like a
like
hardcore censorship.
those
thing.
weird groups that have like Christian people that were like they're turning your children into devil worshippers.
Blame everybody but
So,
themselves.
Yeah, and so anyway, like you have all that. So obviously, a guy like Wes Craven's like, yeah, we're creating serial killers. It's not everything
gonna
else.
make
It's
fun of
not
you.
actually
Yeah.
your overtly religious bullshit that draws them to the other side. It's me making a fucking silly movie.
Or it's not that you guys are
Yeah.
terrible parents and just fucking each other, because that was the real
Yeah.
thing in Scream 1. Like, oh, you guys weren't watching your kids,
Yeah.
and like now you just broke
You
up a
fucked
family,
his
and now
mom,
this
his
guy
mom
is a
fucked your
serial
mom.
killer.
It's like,
The
it's
mom
your fault.
switched, the dad switched. Now
Yeah.
our kids are fucking. But,
I mean, yeah. So
Maybe
really,
maybe
it
we
was
need to
the
get out of this
parents'
small
fault
town.
in the end.
Yes.
we need
And
to get
even
out of the small town.
yeah, well, no, it was always the parents' fault, and that's what it always leads back to: is what are your kids doing? What are they into?
I don't know. Fonzie was the principal. So.
He was,
I don't know
but
where
I
you go with
mean,
that. You take it
yeah.
where-
But if you're
take it
sending
where
your
you
kids to the high school where Fonzie's the principal,
Okay, but Fonzie as the principal or Squiggy like in Scary Movie?
No, I did enjoy
So
that
there was
Squiggy was his counterpart.
Squiggy was the high school high version of Scream.
See, this one is so. God, Wes Craven was a genius when he made these movies and
He
gave all
was.
those cameos because it's just so.
Yeah.
And there's a part in this where I'm like, this is so Nightmare on Elm Street.
When you can Easter egg your own fucking movies,
Yes.
Yeah.
like that's you're like, oh, okay,
There's
that's
a
badass.
part where Gail and Dewey are taking the tapes to find the lone VCR in this
Yeah.
in this
to
college.
the VCR.
But it's like a wide sweeping shot above the campus, of like this old building, and it's dark and it's like windy, and
Yeah.
it's I'm like, this music is Nightmare. Like this whole scene is, and then they go down this hallway, and I'm like, yes.
Yep.
I love this movie so much. I
Where's-
just
where's
love
Tina?
Scream too.
Well-
Yes,
And the
where's
body
Tina?
bag.
To credit to what they talk about in that little college classroom, the sequels that were better than the
Okay.
original.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before you say something, I just want to say something. This is not what film school is like.
Paul
No,
went to film
no.
school.
This
by the way.
is okay. This is what I think a lot of people that you go to film school with think that actual fucking film school is like. There are people that I went to film school with that I'm like, film school is not how much fucking stupid ass trivia you fucking know about movies.
Yeah.
Like that is not a whole class. Like
Yeah.
professors be like, shut the fuck up. That's not where we're teaching. If you want
Yeah.
to go play trivia, go to, and they would name a local bar on Thursdays, which would be a little thing because I'd
Now,
been drunk with
kids,
professors many times.
I did not go to film school, but I am a historian, so I got to take all the fun electives when I was near my end, and I did get to have some classes where it was like comedy classes, and we just had to watch comedy movies and then discuss that. So there are some in the humanities, but not so much in the film school.
Yeah, what class was that you were talking about? Like that was no class in film school. There's no like, let's talk about trivia.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is stupid. No, doesn't. Okay, and there is a piece of trivia in that. So Timothy Oliphant's character, Mickey, said, was it him? No, okay, whoever says the line, no, it's Joshua Jackson's character, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Joshua Jackson's character says the line from Aliens 2, and he was supposed to say it wrong, and then Randy was supposed to correct him and say it right. But Joshua Jackson fucked up and said it correctly, so Randy just was like, all right, I'm just going to say the opposite and we're just going to roll with it. So he ad-libbed it and just fucked it. So it's actually backwards, but it's just fucking, it works because nobody really cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that's not what fucking film school is.
Yeah,
So if you think that's what film
nobody
school is,
knows.
don't go. Because there's enough
Don't
of those
go.
douches there.
No, you go to film school to learn how to make films.
Yes,
That's
not
what
talking
it's
about how
for.
much you know about movies.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, go ahead.
But no, like I said, the little conversation they're talking about in a lot of the movies that they brought up made good points. And I feel like at the time, this was better to me, like Andrew said, than the original.
Yeah, I love this one. I mean, Jada Pinkett Smith gets it in the beginning.
Now, deservedly so.
And there's that whole stab.
Well, you're talking
sequence.
during the movie. That you
Yeah,
should
well,
be
no, it's
stabbed.
that whole thing with like the stabs enter the world, the universe of Scream. You know,
Yeah.
it's the first introduction of that, and then we just get Sydney at college just trying her fucking best just to be a regular human.
With the invention of caller ID.
And this movie is why I don't know Cotton Weary's actual name, because he is in my brain as Cotton Weary, and I can't.
Liev Schreiber?
Sure, it doesn't go in there. I know he's Pornstash's
His
brother.
little brother,
Yeah. From Orange is the New Black. He's also Master Sergeant in Halo.
No, he's not him. That's his brother.
That's what I said.
That's what he
Oh,
said.
okay.
Yeah, Pornstash from Orange
Pornstash's
is the New
brother.
Black is Master
Are you
Sergeant.
awake? What
Yeah.
time is it where you live?
I know him as Sabretooth.
Oh, Cotton? Yeah.
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 No, Leaf.
Okay.
Shrebatter.
But think
like
about,
you
I always like this one too, because Gail and Sydney are still not friends.
No.
Like they
Yeah,
don't really
there's
have
still the
their bond.
animosity.
Yeah, they don't have their bond until 3.
Yeah.
And this one, like, such a bitch move, Gail. Like, just showing up
Yeah.
with Cotton out of nowhere. Everybody's like, "Is this bitch serious?" Like all her friends
Like, I
behind
know, like,
her, are like, "Motherfucker."
Even Cotton was like, I thought we had an interview, Gail. Like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, even he was
Jesus,
like, fucked
Gail.
up.
Like, come on, Gail. Like, that's fucked up. And I'm Cotton Weary. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the man she's in
but I'm
prison.
innocent. So, like, what does that even mean? Like, I love that his whole thing was like, but I'm just fucking innocent. Until the end where he proves her he's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, that interview's looking real good. Like, Really, Cotton? My life is really, you want to fucking negotiate with my fucking life right now to make a fucking interview?
I know. No,
For
he
what
totally
was it?
covers it.
$10,000?
He totally covers it at the end, right? Like, I was just kidding, right?
Yeah.
Let's get our story straight.
Sure, Cotton. Sure.
I know what happened. I don't need to get my story straight.
Right.
I
just
know
because,
the story.
I mean, when the press struck Cotton, I don't want to fucking talk to those people. You want to tell them a story, go right a fucking head, man. That's not my game. That's all you. But
hey, but he managed to make it to his own talk show.
He does by
100%
3.
Cotton.
See, I love 3 too. But again, I can't tell. I grew up in all the furor of this, so like I can't tell if it's just nostalgia or they're actually
I think it's a little bit of
amazing.
everything.
I think the first 3 are a solid trilogy.
Yeah,
And I
they
think-
really are.
And I think after that, it is now really just turned into what Nightmare turned into.
Yeah.
Where they're just
It's
taking
getting
it
there.
and making it.
I don't want
for
to talk
money.
about the new one.
I don't. It's just horrible.
No.
We're not making it for money, but we are, though.
Should have died with.
It's what they said. They're making requels with everything.
It's terrible.
And I sigh. But anyway, back to 2. Dewey's back. I mean, all the mains are back. All the ones that survived anyway.
I love how Dewey was a straight up dick to Gale most of the time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Like,
Well,
he.
Dewey's a wounded little bird.
What is it? He is. Where was it? He was quoting her book saying that he reeked of
He reeked of inexperience or something like that.
Yeah, and he brought that up a bunch of times.
I love how
Yeah.
in his little speech that he reads off to Gail, because clearly he's rehearsed
Yeah, he's
this
practiced
moment.
this.
This
yeah.
moment has been a moment he's been waiting for since that fucking book
As
came
soon as
out,
I
and you can
see her.
tell.
Page 51, bitch.
Page 43.
I do love they've always had that weird chemistry, those two,
Yeah.
Gail and Dewey, and it really just shines in these movies. It really does.
Yeah. I didn't know this until we were watching this, but Chief Hartley is actually Arquette's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, you can tell some of the
See the
resemblance to
resemblance in
the
them.
to the siblings more.
Yeah, and I always remember that guy from Little Nicky.
Yep.
He's like the pastor.
Yep.
I don't know why.
That's
he's
all I
been in a
can
million
remember,
goddamn
yep.
things, and I was like, every time I'm like, oh, it's that guy from Little Nicky.
Little
Like,
Nicky.
that horrible fucking ass Adam Sandler movie. It's that guy from Little Nicky.
It was so funny. The little Adams that movie was ridiculous.
It was
when it
so
came
fucking
out.
stupid.
It was so stupid. There's
And I'm like,
no
how much did
point
Popeyes
where
have to pay for this? Okay, we're not doing Little Nicky, all right? We're going to go off on a little fucking Nicky tangent right now. Again, we're gonna have to put a bunch of like crap movies like that into like a hat and just be like, you know what, we're gonna pick a crap movie for next week,
Yep.
and then just
throw it in the bucket.
We're watching Little Nicky, but knowing you'll put a bunch of fucking Rob Zombie movies in there, so we have to.
I'll do it just to piss you off.
We'll watch one.
Back to Scream 2. I was always so sad that her boyfriend was actually like a good guy and he doesn't make it. I was like, come on.
Yeah, but
Poor
you still
Chris O'Donnell. No, not Chris O'Donnell. But
Jerry
Jerry
O'Connell.
O'Connell. I was close. There was an O.
Kush. But I mean, he's doing okay. So,
Yeah.
you know, the fat kid from Stand By Me is married to
Heroic
Mystique,
Woman. Yeah.
Yeah,
or was. I don't know. If there's
I don't know. They all get divorced and married so often.
they do. But hey, I mean, I really think it's just like they get bored with each other at a certain point. They're like, you know what? Let's switch it up a little bit.
Speaking of bored with each other, the lines that David Arquette and
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox had to say to each other in the last scene, I'm like, ouch. Like, you guys have got divorced in real life, and you're playing these characters that are like divorced, and like,
Yeah.
so that's like double twisting the knife that you
I
fuckers
don't
make
wanna
these people
talk
do this.
about the
Like,
what is
last
wrong with you?
one. I don't want to talk about it.
sorry, it's just
Wes wouldn't
All right,
have
let's
done
get back to 2 and talk about deaths that were a little bit.
that. Randy's death. I mean, we wanted Randy to make it. We always did. I love Randy. I love his cameo in 3 too. I mean,
Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy looks like the Unabomber now, but I mean, at the time, I loved his character because he represented every film nerd out there.
I love how if he hadn't gone on his tangent about what's his face,
Mickey,
Billy.
Billy.
Because what is it? I kind of looked into it, and I know there's unofficial things of who did what killings, but it's pretty obvious who killed him because of.
Well, she does admit it at the end of the movie.
Yeah, she says. I got a little knife happy with
she's
Randy.
like, he said something about my Billy, and I got a little knife happy with Randy. So when we were watching it this last time, we were trying to figure out, okay, that had to have been Mickey, that had to have been the mom, and from switching back and forth. Like we tried to place it.
Yeah, from what I looked up, she only did the one killing, and that was him.
Well, Mickey definitely does the first two in the movie theater. He does Sarah Michelle Gellar for sure.
Well, the other things you got to pay attention to, and then a lot of the foreshadowing is you see him with the video camera.
Yeah.
And then when they're in the film school, whatever that thing that was that they were in.
Where they find the VCR.
Yeah, where they found the VCR and they started showing everything. And
VCRs.
And you started thinking back on it. I was like, okay, the only person that had a camera was him. So obviously he was doing that. So it's like,
the guy next to you.
Yeah.
It's a real Seven moment when they're yelling at the reporter who's actually John Doe.
Yep.
I always thought, like, did Mickey take pleasure in killing Cece, which was Sarah Michelle Gellar's character? Did he take pleasure in killing her because she was making fun of him of her having a hard-on for James Cameron in film class?
Could.
That is
Could've.
why I use that line. I still say people have hard-ons for things. I use that line all the time. So I'm still kicking.
Well, you didn't go to film school with guys
I didn't.
like Mickey.
No. I could take guys like Mickey.
Pacey, or what was his name? Is that his name?
Go for the throat.
I think that was. I think he was Pacey on that.
I never watched that show. Don't know what it was about.
The only reason I know the name is because of Jay and Bob. Jay and Bob. It was like they said, go to hell, Pacey.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we talked about Randy. Randy gets it in the van.
Oh.
Which makes the Gail's cameraman leave. He's like, nope, my van's a police
Again,
in a crime scene.
I'm out.
Again, think back when you first saw this movie. They kept throwing so much misdirection on who it could have been because the cameraman says, I'm out. And then he comes back after he's dead.
Do remember that. I do remember that because I think they made a big deal about that. Like, wait, he says he's leaving right here, but then he's back later, like in this other clip. So obviously, like maybe he's the killer. And I remember that. It was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember this was so like MTV soaked, so much so that the fucking chick that hands out the costumes won a contest on MTV to be in the fucking movie.
To hand out the costumes,
the little cameo, like. This is from the studio, and so were you.
Yeah, it was. It like we said, it was one of the first franchises that really took the internet took hold, and like everybody loved it. It was a universal thing.
Yeah, do you remember MTV News?
Yes, I do. It was Kurt Loder.
Kurt Loder.
I wonder if he's still alive. Is he alive?
I think he's still alive, and that other chick too. I can't remember her name.
He was old back then. I feel like when I was a teen.
But maybe I just thought he was old.
Yeah, he was probably like 33.
Probably.
We're like, God, who's this 50-year-old? People just age differently now. I don't know.
I love that whole coffee scene, or is it ice cream scene? I don't know where they are. They at an ice cream shop or something, Dewey and Randy?
Yeah, I mean, like they're just having ice cream. No,
Yeah.
they're having like milkshakes, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
They're
but
at a Dairy Queen.
They're seeing the clips.
Trying piece together this mystery.
They're strategizing at the local Dairy Queen, the student union.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I love that whole scene where they're talking about the film and they're talking about who plays who and stuff like that. Because
like David Schwimmer, at least.
Yeah, I love him though because every Scream has a different message about the audience and for the audience, which is always interesting to me. And this one is really about like, don't get caught up in it, like with the whole fandom thing with the beginning of everybody dressed in their stab costumes, and like it's really, remember this is just a movie, kids.
Yes.
Like,
and that's the other thing too we got to remember too were all the cameos, because they kind of played themselves as characters, because Drew Barrymore was what's her not Drew
that was
Tori Spelling.
Wow.
Tori Spelling
was herself.
Herself playing Sydney, and then you had one of the Wilson brothers playing what's his face.
Oh yeah,
Skeet.
yeah. Oh, the bangs. They give him the skeet bangs.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I always love that they have that whole movie within a movie thing, and it's so stupid, but yet it's so like when they're watching Stab, and I'm like, this would be the grandized Hollywood version of what they did if Scream 1, was a real life thing.
Yeah.
The whole Drew Barrymore was like, okay, now she's in the shower, and like that whole like hint of sex of like, Drew Barrymore from Scream, but I'm saying
who was
Heather
Graham.
Graham
There you go, Heather Graham.
for this one, but I'm like, like, you know, she's just making popcorn. But I'm like, okay, but then you don't even question, like, this bitch is about to get in the shower. She's got popcorn on the
I
stove.
know,
Like,
why?
what the fuck? Like, you're just taking elements from the story, just throwing it in there, like Hollywood
and
would do.
I
Like,
love Jada Pinkett's whole, like, her whole theory
Star
in the
69
beginning.
is ass.
Well, no, because like that whole scene is brilliant with that dialogue because she gets so much into it. She talks about how black people didn't have representation in horror. Like, she goes through the problems that everybody has with horror. Like when Heather Graham's getting into the shower, she's like, why does her tits have to be out for her to be stabbed later on? That doesn't make sense. And like Wes never really did a lot of nudity in his films. Like he did Last House on the Left, which was really graphic and violent, but I don't remember, there wasn't tits in the first Nightmare.
I think you kind of see like maybe like slight glimpses with Tina's death.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember, I think maybe in the body bag too.
Maybe, but it's like few and
It
far
wasn't
between.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like gratuitous at
though.
all.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was.
like
It
that.
was never a sexualized.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
thing.
it was more of like, this is what naturally you would fucking look like if you were snatched naked
Yeah.
and thrown about the room after having coitus.
Yes. Yeah. So like, this one, I don't know. It just always spoke to me as such a horror fan and as a nerd of movies, I guess. And I do love that, like, we get glimpses of the people playing themselves because Wes does that again in New Nightmare.
Yeah.
I love that there was so many like in jokes with, I mean, because obviously Courtney Cox was big with Friends at the time still, and that whole thing was going on. So I love that there's the David Schwimmer reference when he's talking about Dewey's character in Stab. And then later, when they first see Gail, I think Randy makes a joke about those pictures of her being naked on the internet. She's like, it was just my face. It was Jennifer Aniston's body.
Yeah.
I do, if you watch this movie and you really like think about it and watch it over, you really notice how many times they point out Billy's mother. Billy's mother.
Oh, yeah.
Billy's mother.
Yeah.
Like, because even that specific scene was about, well, my mom left too, Sydney. Like, your mom's not dead somewhere in the cemetery.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, stupid. Talking about Billy's mother. And then it was like always about that. Like, it's like how many times they bring it up or bring up mothers or Billy and like all that. It's like it points to the direction the whole time. Because then definitely when Randy's giving his speech about who the killer could be, he's like, the Quentin the Tarantino style film student, Mickey. He's like, but if he's a suspect, so am I. Like, so I'm like, but if you really thought about that, like, yeah, Randy was right, but he's not at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's such a like character trait of Randy to be like so spot on but yet so clueless at the same time.
Well, I know one of the other things too that Kim picked up on too is when Tori Spelling was doing her interview with whatever reporter was, she kind of gave away the movie if you pay close attention.
To Stab.
Yeah.
To give it an Stab. Yeah, but I think people would probably already know. Well, I mean, obviously those girls in the line getting the popcorn behind Jada Pinkett Smith's
Like,
character
this is
was
stuff
like,
that happened in
yeah, this
real-
stuff that really happened in California. You know, these are real people. You know, like,
That small giant ass soda she got.
yeah, it's like
was
I'm a
so
small,
That's what I
cheap.
said.
small diet Pepsi.
When she went over
and
there, I'm like,
what
that's
the
a small soda?
And it
That
was
thing
only
huge.
$7.50 to
It
get
was a
into the
medium popcorn. Yeah, he was like, I can pay $7.50. I'm like, $7.50.
Yeah.
The thing that
They ain't even child prices no more.
No.
what Jada said to him, she's like, go buy me. I was like, get your own money. He's like, yeah, but I want to spend your money.
I got my money. That's not what I want to spend here.
You ain't getting nothing. I didn't pay $7.50 for these free tickets. That's why you paid. He's like, all right, I'll get free tickets.
Yeah. I made you come see this horror movie. Fine, I'll pay for the snacks. The kill always got me in the bathroom because it was like it could happen anywhere. Or like.
No, because why the hell would you ever put your skin against anything in the bathroom?
That scene has forever been ruined for me because of Scary Movie.
Oh, with the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read in the trivia that when they were submitting this movie to the MPAA for rating, that they overhyped all the gore, right? Like that scene, he was stabbed 3 times instead of 1. I guess Randy's throat slashing was a lot more like graphic.
Well,
Yeah.
So they submitted a version that was like really bad because he was like, well, if I show them this version, but then we tame it down to what we actually want the movie to be, then maybe they'll just be okay with it.
It's a way to go.
But I guess that didn't work fully because I think they had to submit 8 different versions of the movie before they finally got it. But I'm like, I want to see the really gory version.
So do I.
Because
Yeah.
it sounded like it was way more like slashery, like gore and like a lot more blood and stuff.
Yeah. Well.
Because I get he gets stabbed through the ear one time, but I could imagine how much
Yeah.
worse it would have been 2 more times.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that the kills were all probably
Yeah.
way more intricate and like crazy.
Yeah,
So,
well,
like,
Wes had historic issues with censors and the.
hey, I mean, if you get to that point in your career, like maybe this will work. Fuck it. What have I got to lose at this point? You know?
Like, what are they
Yeah.
going to tell me, dude? Tone it down. Okay, we were going for more.
All right, fine.
That's why so many
You
horror
got me.
directors stay independent because they don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's not where the money is, though. Apparently,
No.
gotta have MTV fucking contests to have someone in your movie.
That's the thing I remember about those movies when they came out too, is how much MTV hyped them up.
They did. They always did they had the cast interviews on there, and
It seemed like they always had them there, like whatever version of TRL was at the time.
Well,
they would have them there.
yeah,
they would have like
somebody
a.
there. Yeah.
They would have a behind the scenes. They would have like a making of,
Oh,
or
yeah.
all. They would do a whole bunch of shit for
It
them.
really started to merge like MTV's like trying to be like the film and like more like not music, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then after that, you started like they started producing films and stuff like that. So then
Yeah.
like by the time like The Longest Yard came out and all that, it was like MTV production or blah blah blah, and like so it was like they really started their kind of merging into like media more than just like showing music videos.
And
shit.
now
And I
they
think-
just do reality TV
And
shows.
And I think to their
all
credit-
crap.
I think to their credit, though, they introduced a bunch of more people to the horror genre that wouldn't even think about it. Because if you think back then, nobody was really into as horror as it is now.
They were the gateway for
Yeah.
house horror.
Yeah, that's
what
the one
I
thing.
Yeah.
always say.
Like
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we can get some people, young people, into this, and then get them hooked. Because, like I said, we mostly grew up on the MTV generation stuff, but that's the one thing I remember most though is that they started pushing the horror movies through this, and I'm like, I'm all for it now.
Well, I mean, they could have they took what Wes had done already, and
Yeah.
I mean, he hyped up a whole generation of teenagers in the '80s with Freddy,
yeah.
and then he did it again in the '90s.
Damn
I know, he's my favorite.
Yes.
I know. It's I would have. It'd be ridiculous to think about like what he'd be doing now, like just the craziness.
You'd come up with something new. Give him that. Give him credit for that.
Would have
Yeah.
been better. The last Scream would have been better.
Ugh.
That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he would have had his hands on it too,
Yeah.
because
I don't
obviously,
know. I think it died. It died. I don't even want to talk about it. It's too painful. Literally too painful. Nope. No, I'm gonna get into it.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's death. I love how she's like, "Oh, my alcoholic boyfriend's on the phone. I have to talk him down again." Like, your sober sister? Is it because you figure you're gonna have to pick your boyfriend up?
I'm gonna be here anyway, so I might as well.
I gotta wait for that asshole.
you know,
to
somebody's
call,
gonna
I
get
guess.
drunk.
Be taking another shift. Yeah, Ted or Bob went out tonight.
That just seems like the worst. I didn't go to college right after high school. I did it later when I had kids in like a home, so I didn't get like that college experience of living on campus.
You said,
but it sounds
you
awful.
said like in a home, and I'm like, for unwed mothers.
Yes.
That's what it
Yes,
sounds
for
like.
unwed
Like,
mothers.
I did it online at home, is what you meant. You like I did it in home. I'm like, what?
No, I mean like I
home?
didn't have to live on campus. Like
But I know, but it just seems like I did it in a home.
it
Like,
just seems, especially I don't know, out in post
group
COVID
home.
Angie. Like I don't want to live with a bunch of people. It just sounds not hygienic at
See,
this point.
And the funny thing to me is like, okay, I've been to frat parties, and there are some frat parties that are like stupid frat parties that you would see in like
Movies.
Animal House and like shit like that, right? I've
Yeah.
been to parties like that, right? But then they were like, oh, it's this sorority fraternity mixer. I'm like, okay, then that's a little more classy if you have houses like that. So there would be no one doing fucking keg stands outside like that at a party like that.
Yeah.
And there were two dudes like helping one other dude up and like counting. I'm like, that's not the place for that. That is down the street, sir. At those crappy apartments that everyone
see those
stays at their
apartments?
freshman year.
That's where you do your keg stands. All right.
You know, the ones where the balconies are a little twisted because there's always too many people out there.
I will say I've never
Been to those parties.
not done a keg stand in a place like that. So, I mean,
Okay, then let me just say
if
that
you're
I've
in
never,
a place like that and somebody's like
I've
keg stand, I'm
never-
gonna probably be
I've
like,
never
"All
seen a
right."
keg stand happen in a place like that. So that's not normally how that works.
If I'm offered a keg stand, chances are.
Yeah, I'd love to see you do a keg stand right now.
Oh my god! I'd probably get
Time
so
out.
dizzy. I haven't
Yeah.
been held upside down in too
I
many
know.
years.
I can't
for
get off
that.
the couch fast and without being dizzy.
Yeah,
let alone a
all my
keg
check
stand.
engine lights come on if I do.
No change though, broke.
These gas prices are killing us.
Walk to the keg.
Inflation.
Gonna roll the keg down the road to get home. Can't even afford to go pick it up. These poor kids. What are you guys gonna do this summer, man?
Right?
These poor
I
children.
don't know. I can't
Gas
even
prices
imagine.
are ridiculous. Like you can't go anywhere to buy beer because gas prices are too ridiculous.
Be strapping
It's
them on the back of
affecting-
bikes, man.
You can't buy bacon. It's too goddamn ridiculously expensive. We're gonna start
Bacon's
raising
so
our own
expensive.
fucking meat, man.
And plus, the thing is, it's going to get fucking hot soon here in Arizona.
It is already hot.
Yes.
Can you take a keg on the bus? Do you think anyone's ever tried that?
This is my private property.
It's like, sir, this is public transportation.
Yes, and I am publicly transporting this alcohol.
If you had a dolly with you,
Put it on the
Get
bike
up
rack at the
stairs.
front. There's gonna be a bike rack up front where they put
Guess.
the bikes. Yeah, just figure it out, strap it away in there.
So if you've ever taken a keg on a bus, email us at podcast.
Tell us how it went. Tell us your story.
Tell us your story. We're still looking for mom jokes. We've got no mom jokes, ladies.
That's right.
Where are you? Come on.
Mom jokes, not jokes about moms.
No.
Mom jokes from moms. They're horrible mom jokes.
Yes, we need them.
Like
I
dad
will
jokes,
read
but
them.
mom jokes.
Yeah.
We'll read them
Kim,
with
tell
gusto.
us a mom joke. Your mom. Get ahead of horrible mom jokes.
Jerry O'Connell singing.
That was just a 90s cliche.
Yeah.
The Jerry O'Connell singing thing was a very 90s
See,
cliche.
Here's the most annoying thing about that. It's not even him singing the song or doing that or have that whole cheesy "here are my fraternity letters" thing. Like, okay. None of that was as bad as fucking Mickey, like 1987 Top Gun. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Mickey. That's why when I'm like, yes, shoot Mickey in the fucking head.
Shoot
I'm
him,
like,
shoot
we do
Mickey.
not need this douchebags in the film industry. These are the people that think they know film. Like, I know trivia, so I should be directing a movie. I'm like, no, it doesn't fucking matter. No one gives a shit.
You can
man.
say all the bad things you want to about Mickey, but this,
No.
this was my my awakening. I was like, look at you, Mickey.
God, he's overacting too.
Not just that, though, but his
Okay,
haircut.
Oliphant. Okay,
Oliphant
is
the
not.
sexy man. Yes.
Oliphant is not a bad actor, but then he was. I don't know if it was just he's not good at playing like that kind of unhinged kind of character. But when he loses it at the end, I'm like, you're overacting. It's just terrible, man. And maybe that was just the 90s, though, because when we do these movies, I mean, at some point, like we said, fucking somebody thought Freddie Prinze Jr. was a good actor to put him in fucking movies.
Oh, God.
And we said, like, he just looks
Talk
so...
about overacting.
he looks-
Watch what I know what you did
I
last
still
summer.
know when we did that. Like, either one of and watch any
His
movie
jazz
that he
hands.
was in. Like, is there any movie that you're convinced that he's not just like it's so confusing it hurts? Just his facial expressions alone.
He looks confused.
I don't know. The 90s really produced some crap actors, is all I'm saying. There's very few gems from the 90s. You're still like, yeah, I'm glad they're still doing movies. Very few people. And I stand by that. Let alone Ralph Macchio's doing shit, so figure that one out. It's retro.
Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Cobra Kai, do or die. Kill, kill, kill. Wait, no, confusing. I have something else.
You're mixing up your pop culture.
That's probably pop culture freaking seizure right now.
Yeah. No, this movie is so amazing. Even the end scene, the climax of the film, where they're just fighting in that stage production of
Yeah, I always think.
Yeah.
I always
of
think
that
about-
Roman tragedy.
Yeah, I always think at the end when they're doing all that, like, all right, Sydney, I know you were fighting for your fucking life, but do you really need to, smash $1 million worth of stage equipment,
I know, so
just
much.
to survive when you ended up just shooting everybody?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't have a gun then. She had to use what she had, man.
She had an axe.
Well, she used the axe just to
Yes.
smash up the thing and just escape Debbie Salt's
I
revenge.
thought it was funny when she does all that shit and like all those, stones, quote unquote, like tumble down or whatever. And she has that long shower. It's like you see the exit and she starts to book it for that. And then Debbie Salt / Mrs. Loomis comes and like tackles her against the wall. And I'm like, those were props. Like, did you think those foam
I know.
bricks, like those
Like,
foam
she just
rocks?
fell-
Shit.
She just
Like,
fell
you
over
think-
some foam.
Yeah, like some foam bricks fell on her from the top of that thing. Like, it's not going to do anything. Like,
I know, and I'm like, did you have to stand there? And why do you turn the thunder off? Leave everything on. Stop turning
Like,
shit off. Just go,
and-
man.
And are fucking stage props like? Are they that like fucking like Dr. Frankenstein-y where you turn the switch like I'm like, are sparks supposed to be flying and shit when you do that?
I
I'm
don't
like,
know. I
that
didn't
doesn't
see
seem
that.
good.
this doesn't like put some money into this shit. Is what I'm saying. Like,
I know that school was huge. They had money.
it's like this. Like you have fucking fraternity fucking houses. Like these are just like mini mansions where you have like a bunch of fucking dudes living, and you know those places have like a fucking house mom or some shit.
Yeah.
They do all the fucking laundry. What was that shit? Like basically, you're gonna go to college and have a different mom that takes care of your shit. Like this is all it was. Like
I don't know.
ridiculous.
I didn't go to school
Grow
on
the fuck up,
campus,
kids.
so
That's what I'm saying.
okay. Paul's ranting about college life. Apparently,
Sorry, this is brought back some memories.
I know this is like what I said. I love this movie. It's nostalgic for me.
Yes.
I was a little baby seeing this movie. I think I saw this one in theaters.
I know I saw it on VHS when it came out because it wasn't too long after I saw the first one that I got ruined for me from my sister. That I made sure that I tried to watch this one before she did, so she wouldn't ruin it for me.
Did you ruin it for her?
I tried to, but she wouldn't listen. Oh, here's what happened. Here's a story time for you guys. So when the first one came out, I was watching it with one of my friends who had already seen it, and he's like, "You haven't seen it, right?" I was like, "No." He's like, "All right, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm not going to tell you anything that happens." We get to a certain part in the movie. I forget what it was, but my sister's coming in, and she sees that I'm watching this, and she knows that I haven't seen it because she's the one who rented it. And then she tells me, "Is like." My friend tells her, he's like, "Don't say anything, he hasn't seen it." And he's like, "Oh." And then she just kind of stays there for a minute or two. And then she's like, "Oh, by the way, it's the boyfriend and her friend." I'm like, "What the fuck did you, what?" This was like not long after, I think it was probably about 3/4 of the movie. Probably about where they let Skeet out of jail.
Oh, the perfect place. This
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You know it's him, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's him. He's like, it's him and his friend. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, siblings.
So my friend, his jaw was dropped. He's like, "I can't believe she just did that." I was like, "Oh, I can." So then we saw that, and then, like I said, when Scream 2 came out, I'm like, I'm making it a point to see this before she does. And I tried my hardest to spoil it and ruin it for her. But she went and complained and cried and said that, "Oh, he's going to tell me how it is." So obviously, being older brother, younger sister, I'm like, you leave your sister alone. Do not ruin this movie. So I got in trouble for trying to spoil it to her.
Oh, you were a better kid than I was. I would have been in the presence of both my sister and my mother and been like, "Oh yeah, well, it's Timothy Oliphant."
I'm sorry.
I would have said it right in front of everybody
Yeah, I
and
would have been
spoiled
like,
it
"I'm
for
sorry."
both.
Did you not want me to tell her it's Billy Loomis's mother and Timothy Oliphant? AKA Mickey.
Because I remember we went to the Blockbuster, I had it, and I'm like, "Look what I have." And she's like, "He's going to..." And so she, as soon as she saw that, she knew what I was going to do. So that's when she started complaining, like,
That's why
"Damn
you
it."
never tell people you're playing.
Yes.
You monologue,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
I was always, if I'm going to be yelled at, I guess I better get in trouble for what I got yelled at about.
Go down with the ship.
I'm like fucking justice, all right? Yes. Kids are wild. Don't have them if you're not ready for big personalities that are just like you.
Yes. I already see that in our 5-year-old.
So who's the dude that ends up marrying?
Isn't it the dude from the third one?
No. They don't even say who she marries.
Who are you talking about?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Yeah, she marries Mark,
Who the fuck's Mark?
He's
the
third
cop
one.
from the third one.
I don't remember.
Why are you bringing up random shit you don't know? We're not talking about that one.
Because I'm
Jesus.
saying, like, after how many boyfriends that she has that died? Like, okay, Billy Loomis tried to kill her, but
just
then,
the one.
But then this guy gets murdered.
Yeah. So just the one. She just
Still,
loses the
man.
one boyfriend because Mark almost dies, but he lives, and they apparently have babies. And
But
the one
still.
we shall not speak of.
But still, it's a big red flag for me. I'm sorry. Last two guys you dated ended up dead.
I'm just at this point, just like, girl can't catch a fucking break. Like, just leave me out of your fucking nonsense. I don't even want in your nonsense
Change your name.
anymore.
I'd be like, "You're Sydney
Like-
Prescott. I'm gone. I've seen what's happened to you 3 times
Change your
already."
name, move
No,
to
I'm
another
saying as
country.
Sydney. As Sydney. And you're just fucking leave my name out of your mouth. Like, don't call me. Go kill on your own behalf.
Yes.
Come up with something original, dudes.
I've been there, done that. Thank you.
I'm really tired of it. I'm a mom now. I don't have any energy for this bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but yes, Billy's mother, the revenge, is what happened.
Hey, chick.
The one thing that's funny about it, though, too, is like you think about it, it's like, okay, if Sydney would have seen her from the get-go, she would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing out of prison?" or wherever it was that she was. But if you
She wasn't in
She
prison.
was at fat camp.
She had just left.
Wherever it was that she
just
was,
left,
because
yeah.
obviously when she shows up,
You
she's
abandoned
like,
your son.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Loomis, and like nobody else knew her, like recognized her or knew who she was. So obviously the only person that would have, they did the best they could to keep her
Gail
away.
does say, I saw pictures of you, but you were really fat.
Yeah. What is it? 60 pounds and a lot of
60
plastic
pounds
surgery.
and plastic surgery. It's called a makeover.
Mm-hmm.
So this bitch left because she was fat and then just got a makeover to avenge her
No,
son.
she left because Billy
'Cause the dad
was
was
doing the
cheating.
mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sid's mom.
Yeah.
And Cotton. She was
Yeah.
kidding.
But she still abandoned her child, though.
She did abandon her child. And Sydney
So,
brings that up.
that's
She's like,
right.
and abandon him.
Rightly so. You know how many
Yeah.
fucking times he cried like a little bitch because you abandoned him?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if somebody's mom was in his life, he wouldn't have tried to kill me. I'm just saying.
Just spitballing here, bitch.
So,
Again,
PSA, don't be a
again.
crazy mom and leave your kids.
But if you're going to go out like someone's murdering, like, just stick that knife a little deeper. Like, I'm going to talk shit right before you kill me.
I don't understand
I would've.
any of the movies where people are just cowering when they know they're going to die. Like, no, you talk the most shit you have ever talked in your life before death.
And look them in the eye.
Yes.
Stare them straight
Let
in the eye.
them know that, yes, you may die, but you're going to make them feel real terrible about themselves.
No.
before
Like,
you
I'm going to
go.
go down fighting.
Because that look in your eye will be the last thing that they'll ever
Yeah.
see. And it'll stick with them forever.
And if
Go
it's
down fighting.
if it's a dude, make fun of their junk. I mean, we all know that's what you do.
So what do you make fun of if it's a woman?
You just make fun of her, period.
Yeah, just talk shit.
You have a period. Like,
No,
that's
not,
what
not, no, I don't think
No,
that's
not
what
like
it
that.
said.
You
Just
said
make fun of her, period, like in
Yes,
general.
here's what I said. Make fun of her period. Like, you have a period. Like, what does that do, Saul?
You're so
might help.
stupid.
Make fun of her period. That's
might
the
help.
dumbest thing ever. Isn't that gonna help? Like, haha, you have a period. I don't. Yeah, that's gonna. I don't think that's it. I want to dig the knife deeper, Saul.
No, I'm just saying. Just talk as much shit as you can.
There you go.
No, I know what it is. This is what you said. A woman is about to murder you, just like your mother. Boom, stare in the eye. Because no matter what, that'll fuck them up.
Oh, I'll piss them off.
Even if they never met
Well,
that mother.
Chances are, if you have a murderer woman that's in front of it, chances are she does have mommy issues. So very
what I'm saying.
on topic for mommy.
Or you
issues
could say,
Mary.
or you could say something about the father too. You could just do one or the other. But I think mother is a better go-to. So if you're ever gonna get murdered by a woman,
Or you can say those pants make you look fat.
no, those are, no.
See, if it's a chick, I'd probably just be like, let's have some drinks and we'll talk some shit through. We'll get through this, me and you, right? See, I could do that. And if it's a dude, I'm just gonna emasculate him because that's how I roll.
But stare him in the eye. Either way.
Yes, dead look in the eye, as intense as you can while you talk as much shit.
Give him the Debbie Salt look.
Yes, wide eyes, crazy
Wide,
eyes.
crazy eyes with the winged or smudged. I don't know what their eyeliner was. Cracking though.
It was, yes. Oh, Debbie Salt. She does go down. She gets a bullet to her head
Yes.
by Sydney after
then Mickey
Randy,
gets-
not Randy, after Mickey pops back up.
And Mickey's stupid ass.
Oh, the other thing we
Trivia
forgot to
night,
talk about
Mickey.
too is the fake out death of Dewey.
He does
Yeah.
so many fake out deaths
I
because he
love
does a
that-
fake out death in the first one too.
It is so. It's so funny that he's like the one that has 9 lives, but then it's
Yeah.
like when Cotton's talking, he's like, "Geez, Gail, you have 9 lives." And I'm
And
like,
Gail
no,
got shot
Dewey
once.
really is the
Yes.
fucking 9 lives having one.
Gil got
It's
shot
like-
once and hit in the head another time because isn't that what happened? He hits her in
Yeah.
the head
Yeah, I think so.
in the first
Because I
one.
think he punches her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dewey
that's-
gets that knife. Dewey's been slashed more than
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, that under their breath, the EMT is like, "Oh, the knife hit some scar tissue and
So
saved
that's
his
what saved
life."
him.
Like,
So lucky.
So if he hadn't been stabbed before, you would have died this
what
time.
are the odds they
Yeah.
get stabbed in the same place?
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
He gets electrocuted in the third one.
he's like the Super Dave Osborne of
He is.
fucking Scream franchise.
Dewey.
Yep.
Oh, I love
All right, I
this
don't want to bring up
movie.
the last one, but that little bitch couldn't have killed Dewey. All right, that's all I'm
Yes,
saying. Fuck it.
that's all we're saying. Even
Math.
the fourth one wasn't that bad. I
Math
mean, it was
doesn't
the
add.
Culkin, but I mean, it
Math
wasn't
doesn't
that
add.
bad.
He was rehashing some bullshit. But nope, we're not going.
We're not going there. This was Scream 2 for Mommy Issues May. It was Mrs. Loomis. They never give her a first name.
They don't.
Billy's
Mrs.
mom or
Billy's
Mrs.
mom.
Loomis,
Billy's mom, Mrs. Loomis, a.k.a.
Debbie Salt.
Debbie Salt.
who
There you
doesn't
go.
really exist.
Deborah.
Deborah Salt. I love her little gung-ho reporter style. She's so...
Yeah.
I'm Debbie Salt.
Debbie Salt.
Like,
For the
and
post.
you can tell like Gail flips it when she figures it out what she's doing. She's like, no comment. I love their banter back and forth because Gail, in this one too, Gail's such a cunt still.
Oh, she's, yeah.
And she really is.
But you love Gail for it, though. Because you can't not love Gail for being Gail.
Yeah, she's very...
Gail's got a Gail. Is all
She
I'm
really
saying.
does. She does some cunty things, though. That Cotton interview out of nowhere is a very cunty movie.
That's
Yeah,
Gail,
those blinds,
though.
yeah.
I don't know, man. You gotta love to hate Gail.
But hey,
you love Gail.
she'll take a full hand to the face to get it. So she does. Sydney's punched her twice now.
Hey, she does what it takes.
And
Took
I
a
love...
bullet to the. She said, bullet bounced off my ribs.
Yeah, and I'll always love that Sydney's never afraid to slap a bitch.
No.
I mean...
They're two tough broads, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
That's why they became friends
Yeah.
in the third.
Well, this has
We have to
happened.
do the third at some point, too, because that one's so amazing.
This
as
has
well.
happened twice to us already.
That's
We might
more
as well-
meta Hollywood.
Yeah.
The third one
It's
is.
just that's even more like. Bleh.
It's amazing.
No, not the movie. I'm saying the whole. I know it's satirical look at how Hollywood is Hollywood, but it's just like you put so much more Hollywood into it. But that's like, bleh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we'll be back next week with
Or some week.
Some
we
week.
don't know. We'll figure it out.
Whenever life doesn't happen.
another Mommy Issues May film.
Yes.
Are we?
So-
What month is it?
It's
We're
still
still in
May,
May.
technically.
We got a week left.
So send us your mom jokes. We need them. We've got none.
We got less than a week, people. Come on.
Ask your moms if you're not a mom.
You guys are going
Send
to
them
get
in.
horrible, horrible jokes.
That's what I want.
No, I'm saying not horrible. I'm thinking you're going to get horrible women jokes, not like mom jokes like you're asking for.
Oh, you saying people are going to be gross? Don't be gross.
Yes, they're going to get some gross jokes. I mean,
No, I
like
want
he was talking
funny
about
gross.
trying to make fun of periods.
No, I think you just took it there.
Yeah, you took it
He
there.
said it. He
You
said
know what
the
I meant.
words. He said the words.
Took it
All
out of
right.
context.
We will see you next
Can't
week.
take direct quotes out of
Bye-bye.
context.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.